January 12, 2024. That's the day everything changed. At the time, I was living in Oregon with my girlfriend. Let's call her Carol. She worked at a nursing home in Hillsboro. We shared a room, a routine, a life, or so I thought. But things started going missing. First it was small, a bit of cash, then jewelry, then other personal items. At first I thought I was just misplacing things, but it kept happening, and I knew something was wrong. So I checked the security footage. What I found hit me like a punch to the gut. There he was, a man, someone I'll call Jay, coming into our room while I was gone. Carol had been cheating on me, and she had let someone into our space, into my life. That was it. I ended the relationship. Immediately. No arguments, no explanation needed. She was lying. She was stealing. She was done. Later, her mother called. She reminded me of a promise I had once made, to help Carol get back to Texas, if she ever needed it. Even after all of it, I still had a heart. I agreed to drive her home. I took 2 weeks off from Intel, packed my bags, and started the trip. It was supposed to be just a ride, nothing more. But Carol started acting strange. She would point out her phone sitting up front and say things like, "See, I'm not talking to anyone." Then she'd go to the back seat and whisper to herself. I overheard her say something about splitting $100,000 with someone, but she didn't have her phone. It was like she was communicating with people I couldn't see. She started sweating, acting jittery, nervous, and then she started demanding to drive. I told her I was fine. I've done long hauls before, but she kept pushing. Her mother called again and told me to let her take over, said I should rest. Eventually, I gave in. I laid down in the back of the truck, and that was the last peaceful moment I remember. I woke up, and I wasn't alone. There were 3 strangers in the truck. They pinned me down. One of them shoved a giant needle up my nose. Another held something over my face, something cold. My lungs started to freeze. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I blacked out. When I came to, Carol was leaning over me, asking for my ID and social security number. I was covered in blood, leaking from my eyes, nose, and ears. I asked her, "What did you do to me? Who were those people?" She looked me in the eye and said, "You were dreaming." I said, "No, look at me. Look at my face." But she didn't blink. She just stared, haunted, like she had already completed the mission. She called her parents and told them I was acting irrational. They picked her up somewhere on the way. She left without a word, and I was left, alone, disoriented, barely able to see. I pulled over, called my mom, told her everything, filed a police report, and then they told me to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital, still bleeding, still shaken. I told them I had been attacked. I told them something was inside me. A nurse walked by, stopped, looked at me, and whispered, "I gave you my life." Then she vanished. I never saw her again. They ran scans and confirmed fractures in my nasal cavity. Then they told me I just needed hydration. I told them I could feel something lodged inside my skull. I begged them to remove it, but they refused. And when I asked why, they just stared. It was like they had already been told what to do, like someone had called ahead and made sure no one would help me. Days later, I collapsed from a stabbing pain near my brainstem. I went back to the hospital, desperate. Same response, same cold stares. I left the hospital with no answers, no help, no hope. They looked at me like I was crazy, but I wasn't. I knew what I felt. I knew something had been done to me. Then it started. The clicking, soft at first, mechanical in my right ear. Tick, tick, tick. No rhythm, but not random either. Like a device warming up or responding. I sat in silence for hours, trying to understand it. I held my breath, turned off everything around me. It was inside me. That was when I checked my security cameras again. I thought maybe I was paranoid. Maybe I just needed sleep. But what I saw confirmed everything. There were people in my backyard, people in white gowns, moving through the shadows. Some were crawling along the ground like they were trained, like soldiers. Others were just standing, watching. And then there were shapes, shadows that moved without form. They flickered in and out of visibility, as if bending the light around them. It wasn't camera glitch. I replayed the footage a dozen times. Some of them looked like they had stealth suits, like they were cloaked in Gen 6 military-grade tech. They moved smoothly, precisely, and they weren't just passing through. They were observing, studying. That's when I realized they were monitoring me. And it wasn't just Carol. She may have been the bait, the pawn, but there was something bigger behind all this. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And yet, there it was, in the footage, time-stamped, clear, undeniable. Who were they? Who had the power to show up in my backyard in cloaking suits and walk away like nothing happened? Why did no one believe me? Why did the hospital stay silent? Why did Carol ask for my social security number the moment I woke up bleeding? What was this device in my head? And why did they refuse to remove it? I didn't have answers. All I had was pain and a constant clicking reminder that something unnatural had been done to me. I tried to tell people. I showed the footage to a few friends. Most said nothing. Some stopped talking to me altogether. That was when I knew. They want me isolated, confused, dismissed. They don't need to silence you if they can convince the world you're crazy. But I wasn't crazy. I had seen it. I had felt it. And I was wide awake now.